So I had a dream last night about a worst case scenario that could happen to someone who's retired overseas. The chances of this happening to you are low, but you need to spend a few minutes thinking about it so you have a recovery plan in mind. I left the United States 18 years ago and I teach people how to do it. Sometimes when I sleep, I dream about new disasters or problems that could happen to retired expats. Although the chances are low, this will happen to one of you eventually. So spend a few minutes thinking about how you would survive this if it does happen to you. It will seem easy to overcome until you think about all the technology created over the last decade. Listen to the problem first, then the possible solutions, and you might make changes that save you eventually. Now, I'm not trying to scare you. I'm trying to load your gun so you have a way to recover if this or something similar happens to you. Okay, so the bad dream went like this. I was walking down the street with everything I owned, my backpack and luggage. I'd found a better apartment just 100 feet down the road. Halfway to my new apartment, two guys with knives jumped out of a car and took everything I owned. My cell phone, my cash, my passport, my driver's license, my wallet, my credit cards, my ATM cards, my backpack, and my luggage. They even took the money I needed to pay rent in the new apartment. I had nothing left but the shirt on my back, my flip-flops, and my shorts. They didn't kill me though, and I still had money in my two bank accounts if I could figure out how to get some of it out. But the technology between me and my money in the bank has become so complicated, I wasn't sure how I could access it. The dream continues. If I were in my home country, I would just walk to a friend's or family's home and ask for help. But I was overseas in a new town where I had not yet established any significant relationships. So instead, I walked to the old apartment that I just left and asked if I could use their computer. I decided to report the stolen cards and ATMs to my two banks and order new ones. But when I tried to log in, I could not remember my password. My passwords were stored on my stolen computer that was in my backpack. Plus, even if I remembered my passwords, the two-factor authentication would be sent to my stolen smartphone. So I decided to contact my family and have them send me money via Western Union. Now, the Western Union office was around the corner, but Western Union said that I would need a government-issued ID to receive money sent by my family. But my passport and driver's license were stolen. So if my family sent the money, I couldn't accept it. So I decided to call my family anyway to see if they had any ideas. But all of their phone numbers were stored in my smartphone and my computer. I've been using cell phones for so long, I could not remember anyone's phone numbers. Normally I use Google Voice, Facebook, WhatsApp to communicate with people. But I couldn't use any of these because my phone and computer were stolen and I didn't remember any of the passwords. My passwords were all stored on the browser on my devices. I couldn't even log into my email. My password was saved in my browser but not in my head. If I could get to the US Embassy, they would issue me a temporary passport that I could use to get money out of Western Union, but the US Embassy was 500 miles away from me. I had no cash for a bus or train to get there. I had only been in this new town for 3 days. I didn't know anyone other than the receptionist in the hotel where I had slept for the last 3 nights. I suddenly realized that I might be homeless for the first time in my life, even though I had thousands of dollars in my bank accounts back home. That's when I woke up from this bad dream. What a relief. It was all just a bad dream. But then I realized I needed to share the bad dream with everyone so we could all be better prepared for similar situations. I will share some of the ways I will now prepare to recover from such a bad situation, but read some of the solutions in the comments below. Some of the most experienced expats in the world regularly watch this channel and will likely share their ideas in the notes below this video. Most of the problems and solutions I share in my Retire Overseas course and my hundreds of written reports come from interviewing and responding to emails from experienced expats who live all over the world. So again, do read the comments. Okay, here are some solutions that occurred to me immediately when I woke up from this bad dream. But remember, I've been living outside my country for 18 years now, and I have never been robbed or beaten. Just do some thinking about this to make sure you can recover if you're not as lucky as I've been so far. And it could happen to me any day. Okay, here's the first thing I thought about, a money belt. In my course and reports, I talk about how to maintain access to my money while living overseas. I have two different unrelated banks, each with its own ATM and credit cards. I always keep them in separate places in case one is lost or stolen. Grab my free ebook in the notes below this video. It goes into great detail about the top 10 things you need to do before you leave your home country. Now, normally when I go out of my apartment during the day, I carry one set of cards in my front pocket and leave the other set with my passport at home. But I was moving places in this dream. So here's what I would do when my whole world is on my person. At night, when I go out of my apartment, I leave both sets of cards in my apartment hidden in separate places. I only bring as much cash with me at night as I'm willing to lose. But this was different. In this case, when I have my entire world on my person, like when I'm moving cities, moving countries, or moving apartments, I would put one set of bank cards in my skinny wallet in my front pocket, along with my driver's license and other set of cards and my passport below my clothing and a money belt. To be even more secure, I would put one card in my wallet in my front pocket, one card in my money belt below my clothing, and a third card strapped to my thigh. The goal of this money belt strategy when your entire world is in your possession is to always have at least one ATM card and ID remaining so I can have access to my money while I wait for the lost or stolen cards to be replaced by my banks. Or if all the cards are gone, at least I have one ID I can use to pick up money at Western Union. Okay, the next idea that occurred to me, emergency login data. If your electronics are stolen or they crash without warning, it's good to have a backup set of user passwords data somewhere. But many people have like 40 to 60 different online accounts now, and they change passwords all the time. So a written list of password carried with you where you're scratching and writing in new ones all the time might not be practical. Plus, if somebody steals that from you, you might be screwed. So here's what I would do instead now. I keep my passwords in a document online, such as Yahoo Notes, Google Docs, or any other password protected account where you can store a document with data on it. Plus, I don't use two-factor authentication on that particular account, so I can still log in even if someone steals my smartphone and computer. I just use my username, which is usually my email, and a password on that account. But I disguise the passwords on that document slightly, so if someone hacks the account, they can't use the passwords because they're all disguised. They have to know how to change the passwords back to what they really need to log on. For example, you could do something as simple as moving the first 4 characters of your real password to the back of the password, and then throw up a letter or two of random characters to the front of that password. Then when you need to turn one of the fake passwords into a real one, you just delete that first character or two and move the last 4 characters back to the front. You can get as complicated with your disguises as you want. So as long as you don't forget how to change fake passwords back into real ones, you could even carry around a note to yourself that says something that just sounds bizarre, like kill the first guy and bring 4 more to the front. Now you just need to remember one password to get into that account. That has all of your passwords on it. You could even add a disguised form of that password to your note. Kill the first guy and bring 4 to the front. And just put the password below that in the disguised format. Just don't tell anyone which online account where that document is stored. If you read that note and password every day for a few months and say it to yourself, you may never forget it. And then if you lose it, who cares? Just say it to yourself once in a while. Okay, and by the way, go back and update whenever you change a password on one of your accounts, go back and update that file. So it's always up to date when you need to log in, when you need to use it. Okay, what about an emergency contact? Now, if the criminals don't find your second government ID because you had it hidden in your money belt, you can have your emergency contact back home send you money via Western Union because now you have a government ID to pick it up. You can even give them the money before you leave the country, so when you call them, you're not asking for a loan when you call with an emergency. You could even keep your emergency contact name and phone number in that password protected account. Okay, friends and family phone numbers. Keep a list of your family and friends' phone numbers. If your emergency contact goes missing, you can ask other close friends and family to lend you the money until you get your cards replaced. You can keep these family phone numbers at the bottom of your online password document. Okay, two-factor authentication. Passwords will not be enough for some of your accounts. Some accounts will require two-factor authentication. However, you may find that some of your accounts allow you to set up multiple two-factor authentication methods. For example, one of my accounts allows me to set up two-factor authentication on two different phone numbers. So I can set my emergency contact's phone number as one of my two-factor authentication phone numbers. So if my smartphone is stolen or goes missing, I can call my emergency contact and tell them I'll be logging in at my bank and they'll be receiving my two-factor authentication code. Then they can just give it to me and I can log into my bank. Then I can ask my bank to send me a new ATM card where I'm staying overseas. So even when my technology goes missing, I can use my emergency contact to get online banking access and order new cards. Another way to handle this is with emergency backup codes. Some two-factor authentication applications like Google Authenticator and others will give you a series of codes to use in case of an emergency. These codes will allow you to log into that account. You can keep these authenticator backup codes in your password document online. Okay, those are some of my ideas. Make sure to put your ideas below and go read other people's ideas. Okay, make sure to grab my free ebook and watch the video in the upper right-hand corner of the screen right now to learn more about two-factor authentication in banking. Thanks for watching.